The longest playoff drought in the NFL belongs to the Jets, who were eliminated from playoff contention after a 23-6 loss in Seattle on Sunday. Let's check in on how the fans are feeling with Jake Brown, a.k.a. the Podfather, and the co-host of the Gangs All Here podcast, and he is here with me now. Jake, Happy New Year. I would say it's happy for Jets fans, but it's not, and you are one, so how are you doing?
New year, same Jets. Usually it's new year, new me. New year, same old Jets. Another disappointment, another embarrassing loss, lifeless effort. And we enter, the new year with a lot of questions about this team and this franchise and, the most important position in sports moving forward.
Yeah, so let's try to answer some of those questions as best as we can. Jake, it looked good for Jets fans at the end of November when the team was 7-4. Then they lost 5 in a row, which had fans thinking, like you said, same old Jets. On a scale of 1 to 10, how disappointing is this season for Jets fans?
Dexter, I think it's around a 9. It's close to a 10, but they did improve from last year, and we did see some positive signs. We did see a tremendous rookie class from Joe Douglas and Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and Sauce Gardner, obviously, and everything in between when it comes to the draft. But in the end, we expected this team to be better from 4-13. We expected them to get to 7 wins. My preseason prediction, no matter what happened at quarterback, was 7 wins, and that's what they're at right now. But to go from 6-3, from 7-4 to now 7-9, and an utter collapse, and the way it's happened, and the answers that we do not have at quarterback is frustrating. And that's why it's as close to a 10 as possible, with maybe not being a 10. They do not know who the guy is. They don't have him on the roster. It's not Zach Wilson, and it's not Mike White, and you have to go get a quarterback. And just everything from the coaching staff, the play calling. Mike LaFleur should be fired. I'm sorry. He should be canned. The last few weeks, the offense has been unacceptably bad, no matter who the quarterback is. There's been no halftime adjustments, no changes in play calling, first downs, runs up the middle, no creativity in the run game. And sure, yeah, the offensive line stunk. They were bad. These guys are older. They're banged up. They're playing hurt. They're tired. But across the board, it was an unacceptable effort from the players. But really, a lot of it I put on the coaching staff that has to be better. And Robert Saleh's not going to get canned unless Sean Payton's coming here. So the next man up, you got to get a new offensive coordinator. And I think when you're going to get a new quarterback, the time to get a new offensive coordinator is when you have a new quarterback. Let them learn the new playbook.
All right, there you go. Changes to the coaching staff called for by Jake Brown. Now, you mentioned the quarterbacks, and that is the big question for a lot of Jets fans here. I think there are Jets fans that would agree with you that say it's not Zach Wilson, it's not Mike White is the answer. So with that being said, who would you like to see starting under center for the Jets in 2023?
Yeah, if the Jets actually want to sell us, they're going to start Mike White next year, and they're raising the ticket prices, which they're doing to season ticket holders. They will come and laugh in your face, and they will probably revolt at MetLife Stadium. There will be someone externally coming. Listen, the pipe dream is Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Those are the two names you look at. God, it would be absolutely tremendous if you can get one of those two guys. I just don't see it happening. If it does, we'll jump for joy. Jimmy Garoppolo's the next name we've been saying for months. The other name is Derek Carr. It's Jimmy G, Derek Carr. I think those are the two realistic names we look at as who the Jets are going to target. If you're going to keep LaFleur and the same coaching staff, I'm sure they're going to love Jimmy Garoppolo. He's the guy that, made it to the Super Bowl with Saleh as the defensive coordinator there. So they love Jimmy Garoppolo. And if it's a Carr, it's a guy who's, has a track record. He has a couple 4,000-yard season. He has multiple seasons close to 4,000 yards. He's been in the league for now about a decade. He's had consistency. He throws a lot of touchdown passes. He struggles a little bit in cold weather, which concerns you a little bit, but I guess you can worry about that down the road. One of those two names I think Jets fans would be happy with. It's crazy to think that if they get Derek Carr, he becomes one of the greatest quarterbacks in Jets franchise history before taking a snap. That tells you a lot about this franchise and the struggles they've had at the position, because he's an upper echelon quarterback, top 15, but he's not an elite quarterback. He's not a top 5 QB, and he'll become elite when it comes to Jet standards. So I'd say Carr would be my first, and then 1A, because of Garoppolo, the injuries, he would be my next guy.
All right, there you go. Those are your guys from Jake Brown. Now, the Jets, they have a strong defense, as you know, Jake, but we know there are issues at quarterback, as we just talked about. Are you optimistic about the future of this team after a disappointing year, or are you in wait-and-see mode to see what the team can do this offseason?
I'm a little bit of both, Dexter. I'm optimistic because of the rookies and the talent that we saw, from this team offensively, from Sauce Gardner, who has proven, he could be a Hall of Famer one day, and he's only a year in. DJ Reed, we saw good stuff from. They have pieces. C.J. Mosley, Quinton Williams. He's a question mark because we're not sure if they're going to pay him to bring it back. We imagine it's a lock they do, but they're going to have to throw Quinton Williams potentially $20 million a year. So he's the guy that needs to come back. We saw signs from this defense. I like Tyler Conklin. CJ Uzama, I think with a good quarterback, that two tight end package could work. Garrett Wilson, could be the offensive rookie of the year with what he did. And Breece Hall, if you get him back healthy, he is a playmaker. This team was terrible without Breece Hall. I mean, they could not win without Breece Hall out there. So there are positives there, but I'm waiting to see because I need to see who the quarterback is. I need to see who the offense coordinator is. I need to see how they upgrade this offensive line. I need to see what they do in the draft. There are still questions to be answered, but there are pieces here in place that get you excited about, hey, this team brings in a Carr, Garoppolo. This team somehow brings in a Jackson or a Rodgers. There's no excuse next year. You have to make the playoffs. And Robert Sala's job is on the line. If they don't make the playoffs next year and he's still the coach, he won't be the coach if they miss out. So I'm optimistic about the pieces they have, but I got to see what they do at the most important position. Until they answer that, we don't know what this Jets team is yet.
All right, we will see what the Jets do, hopefully at this time next year. Jake Brown is not saying same old Jets. That is Jake Brown, the Podfather, a.k.a. the co-host of the Gangs All Here podcast. Go check that out. Jake, thank you for your time. I'm hoping 2023 gets a bit better for you sports-wise.
Sleepless in Seattle, starring Mike White and Mike LaFleur. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.